So again, set a material, next to the color, add the map, go to bitmap, go find that image. And that's my other material. Let me make a bunch of copies so I can just copy them directly. Remember, shift and drag. Right click on any of the snaps toggles at the top and go to home grid. Oh, I didn't do a back picture of the Pachimari. That's fine. I don't know what it looks like. Okay, so I should have a bunch of reference image planes. I'm going to ignore the skateboard ones for now and just focus on the Pachimari itself. So angle snaps on, so that is here, angle snap, or A, we'll toggle it on, and I just want to align them all. So I should have a front facing view, side facing view, then I have a 3/4 as well, which you don't need, it's nice to have. Yeah, 45 to be there. I'm going to try to align them using the orthographic camera. I'm going to try to align them correctly. So that's there in the center. Trying to make sure they're relatively the same size as well. Don't have to be perfect, they're just references. Say again? Oh no. 3ds Max will crash for no reason. So everyone save as well. Don't worry, I'm gonna pause here anyway. Basically try to get to where I am, where I have my reference images all around, and I can make sure I can see them in multiple angles. Now, just real quick before we go on break, I just want to show you this last little bit so you can do it as well. So I'm going to select all of them, and I'm going to freeze them all. So click this little freeze button in the layer panel, which turns them gray. Now I can't select them, but it also makes them gray, which is not what I want. So by default, anything frozen turns gray. I want them frozen, but also still visible, right? So I'm going to select them all, right click, and go to, I believe it is render properties, and then under show frozen in gray, turn that off. Okay, so again, right click, render properties, properties, and turn off show frozen. So they're frozen, so I can't select them. I can still select them by going here, but in the actual window I can't select them, but I can still see. So that's exactly what I want. So I'm modeling, I won't accidentally move them, but I can still see. Okay. Let me just pause that. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to create the top bit first, right? I'm not going to worry about the bottom. It's going to worry about the top bit. And if we look at our reference image, now the question is actually whether I want to merge them like this reference image. I don't know if I want to do that. I might just like grab a separate piece and shove it in there. But let's see. So the reference one it's all quadded. So it's not made of a sphere. Because if I make a sphere, my wireframes, you'll see that the top of the sphere has triangles. So there's two options. Either we can use the sphere and then go back up here and try to quantify this bit ourselves. We can start with a cube. I'll show you. We can start with a box. Oops. And let me just make that 1 by 1 by 1. And if I add segments to the box, then I can also do a thing on this called a spherify, which does this to it. However, you get some issues where like you can kind of see that the faces of the box are still there, if that makes sense. Like the edge flow still follows the edge flow of the box. So you can do this. It's just not the best. So I think what I will do is I will use a sphere. I could manually make it, but it's fine. I'll just use a sphere. So just to make our lives easier. So I'm going to use a sphere. I'm going to reduce the amount of segments. I don't think I want that many segments. I want this kind of low poly, just so I can work easier with it. Say again. Oh, like, do you think it's bad?
No, I just think it's cute.
Yeah, it gets cuter when you drop the poly. Usually when you make it less polygonal, I guess it looks more stylized. So it's kind of cuter. Okay, now the question is, should I follow this 1, 2, 3, 4? I think that's better for me. 14. I want more though. No, I'm gonna stick with 14. I kind of also want the middle to have an edge in the middle, so I'm going to go with an even number of segments. So yeah, sphere. I did 14. You can do more or less depending on what you want it to look like. All good so far? All right, so I'm going to add now an edit poly because that's what I always do to edit stuff. And this little like, I'm not going to worry about it being triangles for the moment, but this little like peak up the top. So I can manually do it by grabbing vertices. So I can manually go in and like grab these bits and move them off and like slowly tweak them. That's completely fine. I can also do something called a soft selection. So soft selection is here, and what that does is it grabs areas in the region around it. So you can kind of see I can adjust the fall off. So I'll just show you what happens. So if I move that one vertex, it grabs everything with it, but it's soft selected, so it doesn't completely like have the same influence on all of them. It has it fall off. The other thing is it also has this thing called a pinch, and it shows you what it will look like. So I can control the pinch, for example, to be like that. So this should give me more of a bubble shape. Sorry, bubbles. So basically, like I'm using the soft selection so that it kind of affects multiple things around it, as opposed to just the vertex that I'm messing around with. So it just allows it to be a little bit smoother. You can kind of see I basically have the teardrop shape pretty good already. Now the top here, what am I going to do with this? I don't really want this like perfect sharp point tip. Again, depending on the style I'm going for, it could be fine. I don't really want that. I kind of want this to have a kind of rounded square shape there. So what I might do is I might delete this entire, turn off my soft selection. I'm going to delete that entire cap and use the border tool. The border tool grabs the border, and I can hold shift and drag, and that creates new polygons. And this is where I'm manually trying to get that little cute tip shape. So, should I be smaller? No, I think so. Cool. And then here, there's a giant hole, but I can do a thing called a cap. Cap it. And now I need to connect, because that's like an n-gon, right? This polygon has loads of different edges, so I need to connect them. So this is a bit of a manual work. I can do a thing called a tessellate. Where's tessellate? Just to show you. Tessellate. There's tessellate. So I can do a tessellate, which will give me quads, but I don't like the way that it does that. So I'm going to manually connect these. So I can grab using the vertices, click one vertex, click another vertex, and right click and connect them. Connect, and that creates an edge between them. Okay. Anyone need help, or are we good so far? Yeah. What ring at the top? Like I deleted a little tip, right? And that gives me this border. And if I use the border tool, I can hold shift and drag to create more polygons. Is that what you're asking, or? You need to delete it so it's a whole. So I deleted the top. Because border only works when there's holes. So just have a look at mine for 1 sec before I let you go. To complete this, I capped it, and then I'm using the vertex tool. I'm using a cut tool. This is important. Cut. I need to make sure you see the way it has this target. This shows me I'm on an edge, and then if I hover over to a vertex, it turns into an actual target. You need to make sure I'm going from vertex to vertex, because it's easy to accidentally add a vertex to the edge, and you don't want to do that. Okay. So what I'm doing is I just cut a line there. Let me make one here to here, one here to here, and then from here. So these are all quads. So it's all good. It's all quads. Right click to stop doing that, and then I can manually move these up to make like a little top bit. Maybe soft selection on this. Okay. And if everyone can get up to this point, let me know. How do I what, sorry? Oh, so when I select it, if I'm creating new polygons, hold shift again, and I just use scale to scale it. Are you all not like boiling? Are you fine? You're not too hot? Okay. I'm sorry. What's in that chicken fillet roll? What's in it? What? Well, what are they? Okay. Well, you did get 2 spicy chicken. I'm never fucking doing that again. This bullshit. No, because just keep giving me 2 rolls. Anyway. I did, and then he gives me another fucking roll. I have 2 rolls. I asked for 2 spicy chicken, and he's like, he made 2 rolls. I'll ask for more chicken next time and see what happens. Okay, but what's inside? Whoa! I'm okay with cheese, but sweet corn. No, yeah, it's good, but not with chicken. What? Sweet corn with chicken. And what else? That's it? And lettuce. And then butter. Nothing else. What's wrong with you? Sweet corn is crazy. Huh? How do you select like an edge ring? Good question. So if I have an edge, that whole chicken fillet roll was recorded. Let me turn off the soft selection. So to create a ring like that, is that what you were asking? Yeah, so edge, and if I click and then double click, it should go all the way around as long as the ring is correct. So I'm on edge, and if I want to add another edge loop, just click and drag, select all of them, just making sure I select all the way around, and then I can hit connect, and that will connect them. Create a new edge loop for me. So use soft selection, affect my fall off. I basically just want to like fatten it up a little bit, and maybe we should add a bit on the side so it's a bit cuter and not like a complete teardrop shape. And a little goes a long way with this, so do be careful. Okay, and then I am kind of done. I might leave the bottom for now, and I want to do the tentacles. So again, there's a lot of different ways I can do the tentacles. I can just use a sphere and like tweak them into a tentacle. Will I use a sphere? Let's see what they did. Pretty sure they don't. Yeah, they use a box. So I might use a box as well, and I'll show you something new. Will I use a cylinder? Let me use a box. Okay, so first I'm going to make sure the box size is like, let's say 1 by 1, 2, something like that. Scale it down. So kind of longish, if that makes sense. And I want to control the segments. So I know I want a lot of height segments because I need it to bend. And I might have a couple of length and width segments because I also want it to have a little bit of like some spherifying. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to work on one tentacle first. So firstly, I want to convert this into, I guess, a more cylinder-y shape. Again, there's no right or wrong. You could start with a cylinder. It's completely fine to do that. I'm going to do it this way. So I'm just looking from the top. I'm going to manually grab this should grab all the edges all the way down. So I kind of get like a roundy tentacle shape. That makes sense? And then, now this is the part that is a bit more magic. I could go in and manually try and change the size and try and recreate that tentacle shape, but I'm lazy, so I'm going to do a different method called an FFD. And FFD is a freeform deformation, and there's a bunch of different types: 2x2, 3x3, 4x4. You can do like a box where you can change your numbers, but I want a cylinder. Let me click on cylinder. What a cylinder gives me is this. So it gives me a bunch of like kind of like transform points around the whole thing. I can change the number of points. So like radial is like how many's inside. I don't want that. Height, maybe I'll do a few more. Maybe too many. That's too many. Okay. Now with an FFD, what I can do is, if I go to the control points, so I need to open up this little triangle, control points, I can select individual control points, and the whole thing kind of like warps to fit where I'm trying to aim it to. So hopefully this kind of makes sense what I'm doing. And this way I don't need to worry about like individually affecting vertices. I can just work on like, it's almost like a warp in Photoshop. And this just makes it a lot easier to work with. So this would have taken a lot longer if I had to manually go and do it, like manually tweak the tentacle, but this makes my job 1,000 times easier. Yeah, it's okay, it's good. I just really want to care. Like a what? Like a giant one. Scale them all down a little. I want a bit more of a curve. So take your time with this bit. Try to get it right. Have I curled it too much? I think I have curled it too much, because it doesn't curl that much. It's okay, it can move it. This was a box, and it had no segments. And then when I'm happy with this, the shape, I can just add another edit poly over it if I want to add it. So when I'm done, add another edit poly. Where I grab this and try to pull it up. And then I don't like this shape because it's a little point shape. I don't like that. So what I can do is I can manually cut new edges in as well. So I'm just going to do that. So I can do that, or I can also polygon select and do an inset. That'll work as well. Either or will work. I just don't want that point to be so sharp. And now here's another important thing. You see the way my vertices are all kind of a bit wonky? All of these, they're not aligned. So I can do something called a make planar here. So a make planar will basically like flatten them all so they all like match each other in a plane. I can do it by X, and they'll all go like flatten the X or the Y or the Z. But I want to just do make planar, which will average them. So it'll grab all the vertices and it'll average the flattening, like so, between all of them. So I know they're all flat with each other now, which is good. I can just adjust it. Cool, I have a little tentacle. Cute. And this is where Maya doesn't really have this, I guess because it doesn't need it, but But if I turn off my edge detection, you can see that it's got this kind of like hard edges, which I don't like. So I can select the whole thing using the element tool, clear all the smoothie groups, set them all to the same smoothie group, so they all look smooth to each other. If I wanted like a really low poly look, I could leave it like that as well. I may have added too many segments. I'll remove a few of them. Oops. Cool. And I think sometimes less polygons looks better than more polygons. Cool. So you can try and get to that point as well. Oof, I can't remember. So recording, let's go. The first thing I need to do, if I want to connect these two, I need to make sure they're the same object because they're completely different objects right now. So if I go back to the main, let me call this Pachimari actually. Pachimari. Edit poly is on. Let me attach the other piece so they're now the same piece. So click, attach, click on that. They're the same piece. Cool. So if I want to meld them together, merge them together, they need to have like, I guess, areas that I can merge them together with. Delete that, and basically I want to kind of match up the polygons to each other with these, where these holes are. So let me just try to line them up as much as I can. So line them here. That's kind of in line actually. That's pretty good. And then here is where I want to do. What the f is this? Was this another box? I forgot about this. So I want to kind of attach these together, right? So I can do a number of things, but one of the easiest things I can do is grab these, like these two edges here, and I should be able to do a thing called a bridge, like so, and that bridges them. Okay, and I can do multiple. Actually, I can do these two areas here, bridge, and that's connected. All right. So you see the way it's connected there. That shape looks pretty good. Yeah, I think so. I think that's pretty good. All right, and then what I need to do is fill in this area here. So I can see there's a polygon here, and this area needs to be filled in. So what do I do here? What I'll probably do is I'll grab these two from the front, and I'm going to extrude them out here. Remember that whole make planar thing? So now I do want to make planar in one of the axes, because it's Y, X, yeah. So X, so it's planar in the X axis, right? So that means it's like straight. And that way I can then like bridge and make sure that this is aligned correctly. Sorry. Make sure the edges are aligned correctly. I made it planar, so I know they're connected, and then I can bridge these two. Perfect. And then I want to make sure from the side that the shape is correct. So here's where I'm kind of like a blobby shape. I think. Do I want that? No, I want them to. Yeah, I do actually. It's kind of a round shape. So yes, I do want that. So yeah, that's fine. Spend a little bit of time doing this. Okay, so kind of a rounded shape going down. Okay, that's. Let me extrude this bit here as well. So make sure it's down here. Make that planar, so make it straight. I never got these right. Z. There we go. Okay, that's. Is that on the edge? Yes, it is. And basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to make a quarter of them because there's 4 of them. I'm trying to make this quarter fit, and when that quarter fits, I can copy paste the quarters right all the way around. Now here, I want to connect this to this. So this is where, this is a new thing. Am I recording? Yes. This is called a target weld. So from this vertex, I want this vertex to merge here. I can't just put it there because they're not like, even if I completely exactly put them there, they're still not like the same piece. They're still separate. But if I do a target weld, it'll weld to it. So I can right click, target weld, and I click on this, drag, let go on that, and it snaps, and it's welded now. Okay, that makes sense? You all good? Okay. Then I need to finish this up to the quarter. Oh no, it's not a perfect quarter. I don't have a segment here to deal with. It's kind of annoying. That's kind of annoying. I should have, when I was creating the main body, I should have made sure that it was like, I had an edge segment here and here. But it's fine, I can make one now. Let's try and select all the way around. Why can't this select? Okay, I think I selected all the way around. Yes, and then I'll add a segment here, so I will connect on these. Cool. Scale these out a tiny bit. Okay, just so I can have it in quarters. And can I get rid of this? I don't know if I want to get rid of this. I don't know. Maybe not. Okay, here. Let's bridge this bridge. And now I'm noticing that I have this gap to fill, right? Let's do it the other way around, and it's true from here, and then I'll match them. Get rid of my planes so I can see. So what I'm trying to do is, I'm shooting from the back. I'm trying to match the shape. Cool. Does that make sense what I just did? I just did shoot it down. Oh, I can't cap that. And then you can see that I just have this one square to complete. So essentially I just need to add one square here. Again, make sure I make it planar. I want to make sure that it's on the grid. And that's done. That's 1/4 of it, like, connected. Did that kind of make sense, what I just did? I did it quite quick, but hopefully that makes sense. Now what I can do, if I grab the entire section here, I can then copy paste this. When it's part of the element, you need to hold Control Shift. It's a bit weird. I actually want to clone that to an object, a separate object. So it's its own separate object. Okay, so this one's a bit weird. So I have it, so its pivot point is in the middle, right? So it's moving around from there. What I can do then is I should be able to mirror this here, mirror. So I can mirror in the x-axis. Cool. I can hit mirror again. Let's make it a copy and mirror in the y-axis. Cool. Mirror that again. Mirror that is a copy into the x-axis. And I've just made 4 of them. Done. Does that make sense? Let me redo all of that again from the start, just to be clear what I'm doing. So I've already attached these together, and then I made a copy. And it's its own separate piece. Pachimari is here, that's a copy. Okay? Because the pivot point is in the center, when I rotate it, or if I flip it, it's going to flip around the center, which is what I want. That okay so far? Yeah? So then all I need to do is hit mirror, and when I mirror, you can choose whether you have no clone, so it mirrors it. You can choose whether you're mirroring a copy, so you're making another copy. For the first one, I'm making no clone, because I just want to mirror it sideways. So it's there, to the right. It was on the left, now I mirrored it to the right. From now on, I'll be making clone. So if I mirror, this time I do want a copy, and I want to mirror it backwards, so in the y-axis, sorry. So that made a copy, cool. I'm selecting this copy, mirror it again in Z, no, X. Make sure it's a copy, okay. So now I have, like, you can see them here. These 3 separate pieces were all copies of that part. Make sense so far? Yeah. Then I grab the main one, and let me attach all the other 3 pieces. Ideally, I could actually, like, unwrap them already, because that way if I texture one, it'll texture all of them. But it's fine. And you see the way they're not, like, fully aligned. But this is where we can go in and target weld stuff. So I can go in and target weld all of these. So merge them all together. The other thing I can do, instead of target welding manually, is I do this thing called a weld. So let me just select everything on this area, so hopefully you'll see what I mean by weld. So if I select everything here, and I try to do a weld this in the settings, what it does is, if there are 2 vertices next to each other, any vertex that I'm selecting, right? Within the threshold, it'll look for that distance, and if 2 vertices are in that distance, it'll snap them together. So that's why if I make the distance too high, it, like, grabs vertices from miles away and squishes them together. Whereas if I make sure the threshold is correct, only vertices that are very close will snap together. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's me welding the vertices there, and I've just done all of them instead of having to manually target weld. Let me do that again here, so hopefully you can see. Grab these, hit weld, and that worked pretty well. So yeah, that's a little bit higher up. Yeah, perfect. So basically any vertices that I've selected that are within 0.01 meters will get welded together, and it looks pretty good. Apply. Let's do that again from here. That should work straight away. Cool. And now they're all welded. It's all one single piece. If I want to check, just grab one of them. Yeah, that's perfect. They're welded. They're not two separate vertices. And we have our very own cute Pachimari. Let's make the smoothing groups of this entire section. I want them all to be the same smoothing group. Clear all, smoothing group 1. Is that correct? Okay, no. So let me turn off. Are these welded? These might not be welded here. Okay, now they're welded. Now, I don't want them to be smoothing group 1, all of them, because you see what happens? The bottom blends with the top. I don't want that, actually. So what I'm going to do is select one or the other, either the top or the bottom areas. Okay, that. And I'm going to clear that smoothing group on the right. Clear all of them. I'm going to set it to 2. So all of these are smooth with each other, but you see I have a hard crease now because 2 and 1. These are in 2, these are in 1. You can see that here. So the 1s are all going to be smooth with the 1s, and the 2s are going to be smooth with the 2s, but they won't be smooth with each other. Okay? And again, it just depends whether you want it to be merged or whether you want that separation. Personally, I want the separation, not a huge deal, whichever way it looks. So that's the Pachimari model done. Next week we will be then unwrapping this. Do some small little tweaks here. I want the top to be a bit bigger. Okay, any questions before we finish up? We good? So you should hopefully have something like this, which is pretty cute. I'd find that cute in the game. And next week, as I said, we will try to unwrap this and also texture it.